Barring Galactic Empire slaughtered a human child. Earth's response, 500,000 dreadnoughts. The stars glittered coldly as the human diplomatic shuttle docked at the massive Talon Empire space station. Dr. Hannah Park adjusted her uniform and looked down at her daughter Minji, who was staring wide-eyed at the alien architecture. "Remember what I told you," Hannah whispered, smoothing Minji's hair. "Be polite, speak only when spoken to, and stay close to me." Minji nodded, clutching her small datapad. At 8 years old, she was already showing signs of her mother's brilliance in xenobiology. The datapad contained her drawings of alien species, each carefully labeled with notes about their biology. "I'll be good, Mom," she promised. "I want to see the Talon scientists. Do you think they'll show me their labs?" Before Hannah could answer, the airlock hissed open. 3 Talons stood waiting, their scaled bodies towering over the humans. The central figure wore ornate armor adorned with what looked like bones. "I am General Tark," the armored Talon announced. "The Emperor grants you an audience, humans. Follow." The human delegation, 5 diplomats, Dr. Park, and little Minji, walked through corridors designed for beings much larger than themselves. Minji kept pace, occasionally stopping to sketch quick images on her datapad. The Imperial Hall was vast, with a ceiling that disappeared into shadow. Emperor Krax sat upon a throne of polished black stone, his golden scales catching the light. Hundreds of Talon nobles watched from elevated platforms. "The human delegation approaches," announced a court official. "They wish to discuss trade agreements." Ambassador Kim stepped forward. "Great Emperor, we come seeking peaceful relations between Earth and the Talon Empire. We bring proposals for exchange of technology and resources." The Emperor's eyes, vertical slits of deep purple, narrowed. "Your species has been in space for barely a century. What could you possibly offer the Talon Empire?" "Our medical advancements," Ambassador Kim began. "Primitive," interrupted General Tark. "We've studied your biology. Inefficient. Fragile." Minji, fascinated by the general's armor, stepped forward for a better look. She held up her datapad, which displayed a detailed sketch of Talon anatomy. "Your hearts have 3 chambers," she said innocently. "That's why your blood looks purple. Our hearts have 4 chambers. Different, not worse." The court fell silent. No child had ever addressed a Talon official directly. Worse, no alien had ever suggested Talon biology was merely different rather than superior. General Tark moved with shocking speed. "You dare," he hissed, towering over Minji. "A human child lectures Talon officials on biology?" Hannah rushed forward. "She meant no disrespect. The child must learn her place in the Galactic Order," General Tark declared. With a swift motion, he activated his energy blade and struck. Minji's datapad clattered to the floor, followed by her small body. The energy blade had cut through her chest. Her heart instantly stopped. Hannah's scream echoed through the Imperial Hall. She fell to her knees, gathering her daughter's limp form. "What have you done?" Ambassador Kim shouted. "She was a child." Emperor Krax rose slowly from his throne. "General Tark has demonstrated the natural order. The strong survive. The weak perish. This is the law of the cosmos." "She was 8 years old," Hannah sobbed, rocking Minji's body. "She was innocent." "There is no innocence," Emperor Krax replied coldly. "Only strength and weakness. Remember this lesson when you return to your planet." The human delegation was escorted back to their shuttle, Hannah carrying Minji's body wrapped in her diplomatic jacket. Ambassador Kim activated his secret recording device, ensuring every moment was preserved. As their shuttle pulled away from the station, Hannah looked down at her daughter's peaceful face. Something hardened inside her, a scientist's mind calculating. A response to an unforgivable action. "They think they've taught us our place," Ambassador Kim said quietly. "They don't understand humans at all." The shuttle accelerated toward the jump point, carrying its tragic cargo back to Earth. In Hannah's pocket, Minji's datapad continued recording data, measurements of Talon weapon systems, structural weaknesses, In their station design and biological vulnerabilities no Talon would ever suspect a child had noticed. On Earth, the news would spread, and humanity would respond with a fury the galaxy had never witnessed. The shuttle carrying Minji's body landed at Earth's main spaceport under gray skies. Dr. Hannah Park walked down the ramp, her daughter cradled in her arms. Behind her, Ambassador Kim carried Minji's datapad, the last record of her curious mind. News cameras broadcast the scene worldwide. Hannah's face, tear-streaked but determined, appeared on screens in homes, public squares, and government offices across Earth. When she spoke, her voice was steady despite her grief. The Talon Empire murdered my daughter to teach humanity a lesson about our place in the galaxy. They believe us weak. They believe us divided. They are wrong. Within hours, Minji's face became known to every person on Earth. Her final drawing, a detailed sketch of Talon anatomy with notes on possible medical treatments for their species, moved many to tears. A child who had sought to understand rather than fear aliens had been struck down for her curiosity. 3 days later, Minji's funeral united the planet. Religious differences were set aside as leaders from every nation attended. The small white coffin was covered with cherry blossoms. As it was lowered into the ground, something unprecedented happened. Silence fell across Earth. For 1 minute, 7 billion humans stopped whatever they were doing and stood in silence. In that minute of unity, the course of human history changed. Next day, the United Earth Defense Council formed. Nations that had been enemies for centuries now worked side by side. Military secrets were shared. Scientific breakthroughs that had been hidden were revealed. Engineer Dae Kim, who had been working on peaceful space exploration technology, brought his designs to the council. I have been developing engines that could reach the edge of the galaxy, he explained. I never wanted them used for war. But now? His voice trailed off as he looked at the hologram of Minji that floated above the council table. Now we have no choice, said General Lee, the newly appointed head of Earth's combined military forces. The Talon Empire has shown us what they think of peaceful relations. Dr. Jun Park, Minji's father, had not spoken since his daughter's death. A brilliant physicist, he had locked himself in his laboratory, emerging only for the funeral. When he finally came to the council meeting, his eyes were red but focused. My daughter saw patterns that others missed, he said quietly. She left us a gift. He held up Minji's datapad. She recorded everything during the diplomatic mission: Talon technology, their biology, the structure of their ships. But most importantly, she discovered something about their energy weapons. The council leaned forward as Dr. Park displayed his daughter's findings. Somehow, through a child's unique perspective, Minji had identified a fundamental flaw in Talon weapon design. We can create shields they cannot penetrate, Dr. Park said, and weapons they cannot defend against. Earth went dark in galactic communications. Human ships returned to the solar system. Diplomatic missions were recalled. To the galaxy, it appeared that humanity had retreated in fear. The Talon Empire celebrated what they saw as submission. Emperor Krax sent messages throughout the galaxy. The humans have learned their place. Let this be a lesson to all younger species. But behind the asteroid belt and within hollowed-out moons, massive shipyards took shape. The designs were unlike anything humans had built before, inspired partly by Minji's observations and partly by the surge of innovation that followed her death. Scientists reported a strange phenomenon. Ideas seemed to flow between research teams, without communication. Breakthroughs happened simultaneously in labs across the planet. Some theorized that humanity's collective intelligence had awakened, triggered by an existential threat. 6 months after Minji's death, Commander Suk Lee stood on the bridge of the first completed Dreadnought, watching as thousands more took shape in the shipyards around Saturn. They thought killing a child would break us, she said to the officers around her. Instead, it has united us as nothing else could. On the hull of each massive ship, a simple cherry blossom was painted, Minji's favorite flower. Inside, engines, powered by physics that the Talon Empire couldn't comprehend, hummed to life. Earth was ready to respond. 6 months after Minji's death, the first wave of human dreadnoughts emerged from Saturn's rings. 100,000 ships moved in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with a new metal alloy that absorbed rather than reflected light. Each massive vessel bore a single cherry blossom emblem, barely visible against the dark material. Chief, Scientist June Park stood in the command center on Earth, watching the fleet through the massive viewing screen. His hands trembled slightly as he touched the image of the lead ship, named Minji's Promise. "The quantum drives are functioning at 100% efficiency," reported a young engineer. "The fleet can reach Talon space in 3 days rather than the standard 3 months." June nodded, his eyes never leaving the screen. "And the weapon systems?" "Online and tested. The designs based on your daughter's notes work perfectly. The Talons won't know what hit them." Earth scientists had discovered something remarkable in Minji's datapad. The child had noticed a pattern in Talon energy signatures that even their best scientists had missed. Her simple drawings, meant to help her understand alien biology, contained the key to both defensive shields the Talons couldn't penetrate and weapons they couldn't block. "Second wave launching from Jupiter stations," announced Commander Suk Lee. 200,000 more ships emerged from massive hidden facilities in Jupiter's clouds. These were smaller, faster vessels designed for precision strikes rather than overwhelming force. In his private office, June opened Minji's datapad again. He scrolled to her last entry, made just hours before her death. She had drawn herself standing beside a tall Talon figure, holding hands. Below it, she had written in her childish script, "Different doesn't mean enemies." June closed his eyes. "I'm sorry, sweetheart," he whispered, "but they made their choice when they took you from us." The third wave launched from Mars orbit. 200,000 support vessels carrying medical facilities, repair units, and humanitarian supplies. Earth was prepared not just for war but for its aftermath. Meanwhile, a team led by Dr. Hannah Park had created something the galaxy had never seen before, a quantum communication network that operated outside normal space-time. The Talon Empire wouldn't detect human communications because the signals never passed through regular space. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said Commander Lee, looking toward Hannah. After Minji's death, Dr. Hannah Park had been unanimously selected to lead Earth's response. The former xenobiologist now wore a simple black uniform with a small cherry blossom pin, the only sign of her new rank as Admiral of Earth's United Fleet. "Begin the jump sequence," Admiral Park ordered. Her voice was calm, her grief transformed into iron determination. Across the solar system, 500,000 ships activated their quantum drives simultaneously. Space itself seemed to bend around them as they disappeared from normal sensors. On the Talon homeworld, Emperor Krax addressed his military council. "The humans have hidden in their system for 6 months. Their silence confirms what we already knew. They are weak, divided creatures who understand their place now." General Tark, who had killed Minji, laughed. "Perhaps we should conquer them anyway to secure resources." A junior officer rushed into the council chamber. "Your Majesty, something is happening." The chamber's viewing screens activated automatically. Outside, the sky was filling with ships. Hundreds of thousands of human vessels appearing simultaneously around every Talon military installation, colony, and outpost across the Empire. On the command ship, Admiral Park stood straight, her eyes locked on the image of the Talon Imperial Palace. "Open a channel to all Talon frequencies," she ordered. When the connection was established, Admiral Park spoke just 3 sentences. "You killed my daughter to teach us our place in the galaxy. You believed us weak. You were wrong." 500,000 ships waited in perfect formation, their weapons powered but not yet firing. The ball was now in the Talon Empire's court. The massive human fleet surrounded every Talon military installation across the Empire. On the bridge of Minji's Promise, Admiral Hannah Park watched the Talon homeworld on the main screen. Her face showed no emotion, though inside her heart raced with memories of her daughter. "The Talons are powering up their defense systems," reported Commander Lee. "Their communication channels are filled with panic." Admiral Park nodded. Let them see our full strength. Activate all ship lights. Across Talon space, 500,000 human vessels suddenly blazed with light, revealing their true size and number. The bee, cherry blossom emblems glowed softly on each hull, a reminder of the child whose death had united Earth. On the Talon homeworld, Emperor Krax stared at the screens in disbelief. How is this possible? Their technology was centuries behind ours. General Tark, who had killed Minji 6 months earlier, drew his ceremonial blade. We will fight. The Talon Empire has ruled this sector for 1,000 years. Before the Emperor could respond, every screen in the palace switched to show Admiral Park's face. You have 1 hour to surrender, she said simply. After that, we will disable your military capabilities. We are transmitting coordinates for your representatives to meet us. The Emperor slammed his fist on the table. This is outrageous. They threaten us over one worthless child? To demonstrate their power, the human fleet fired a single coordinated pulse. Every weapon in the Talon Empire, from the smallest soldier's gun to the largest planetary defense cannon, stopped working instantly. What is happening? The Emperor demanded. His chief scientist checked the readings with trembling hands. They've somehow altered the quantum signature of our energy weapons. It's as if they've rewritten the laws of physics in our space. General Tark refused to accept defeat. He ordered the Imperial fleet to attack using physical weapons, missiles, and kinetic projectiles. The Talon ships launched everything they had against the human fleet. The missiles exploded harmlessly against invisible shields. The projectiles simply stopped in space, held by forces the Talons couldn't comprehend. You still don't understand. Admiral Park's voice came through again. We could destroy you completely, but that is not our way. Suddenly, a different voice echoed through the Talon communication systems. A child's voice speaking perfect Talon language. Hello, my name is Minji. I wanted to learn about you. The Emperor froze. It was impossible. The child was dead. On the command ship, Dr. June Park stood beside a console where an AI created from his daughter's brain scans was now active. The AI contained everything Minji had been: her curiosity, her kindness, her unique way of seeing patterns others missed. I made this recording before I came to your world, the AI continued. I hoped we would be friends. I still hope that. The Talon leaders looked at each other in confusion. This was not how conquered species behaved. Your surrender will not mean your destruction, Admiral Park explained. It will mean the beginning of a new relationship, one based on mutual respect, not fear. On ships throughout the fleet, human soldiers and scientists waited. They had come prepared not just for war, but for peace, if the Talons were willing. Emperor Krax looked out at the overwhelming human force. Then he did something no Talon emperor had done in 1,000 years. He bowed his head. The surrender of the Talon Empire marked the beginning of a new era for the galaxy. Admiral Hana Park stood on the observation deck of Minji's Promise, looking down at the Talon homeworld. Its purple oceans and golden landmasses seemed peaceful from space, hiding the turmoil of a civilization facing its first defeat in 1,000 years. The Emperor has signed the treaty, Commander Lee reported, offering a datapad with the official document. All terms accepted without changes. Hana nodded, scanning the document. The terms were firm but fair. The Talon Empire would dismantle its offensive weapons, open its borders to other species, and accept human peacekeepers. Most importantly, they would adopt and enforce the Minji Protocols, laws protecting all sentient children regardless of species. Begin the transformation, Hana ordered. Across the galaxy, the enormous human fleet changed before the watching eyes of countless alien species. Weapon systems reconfigured, becoming scientific instruments and medical facilities. Dreadnoughts, designed for war, became vessels of peace and exploration. On the bridge of his flagship, Emperor Krax watched in confusion as human ships near his homeworld opened to reveal massive medical facilities. What is happening? He asked the human representative. These ships were built with dual purpose, explained Dr. June Park, who had come as Earth's scientific ambassador. We hoped you would choose peace. Within days, Human medical teams were treating Talon citizens suffering from diseases their own doctors couldn't cure. Earth's scientists shared technology freely, helping worlds that had been oppressed under Talon rule. News spread quickly through the galaxy. Species that had feared humans after seeing their military might now witness something even more remarkable: their compassion. Diplomatic requests flooded Earth's communication channels. Everyone wanted alliance with these strange beings who could build 500,000 warships but chose to use them for healing. 1 month after the surrender, Admiral Park visited a small Talon colony that had been struggling with a deadly virus. When her shuttle landed, she expected fear or hatred. Instead, a group of Talon children waited, holding drawings of cherry blossoms. "They honor the human child," explained their teacher. "We have been teaching them about Minji." Tears filled Hana's eyes for the first time since her daughter's funeral. She would have liked that. On Earth, construction began on a memorial unlike any other: a single cherry tree planted with soil from every human nation. Through advanced genetic engineering, it would bloom eternally, each blossom containing a small amount of Minji's DNA. When Dios completed, the memorial became the galaxy's most visited site. Aliens of all species came to stand beneath its branches and learn about the child whose death had changed everything. 6 months after the surrender, Admiral Park and Dr. Park attended the final ceremony marking the new galactic era. The location was symbolic, the very hall where Minji had been killed. Now it served as a center for interspecies education. During the ceremony, a small Talon child approached the Parks. She was clearly an orphan, her scales dull from poor nutrition. In her hands, she held a crude drawing of a human and a Talon, holding hands remarkably similar to Minji's last drawing. "Her parents were killed in the conflict," explained a Talon official. "She has no family." Hana and June exchanged a look. Without words, they made a decision that would become legendary across the galaxy. "She does now," Hana said, kneeling to the child's height. "If she wants to come with us." The image of the grieving human parents adopting a child of the species that had taken their daughter spread throughout the stars. It taught a lesson more powerful than any weapon. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't its capacity for vengeance, but its ability to love beyond boundaries, even after unimaginable loss.